Welcome, everyone. This is Pound Needles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at laces in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week, I'm joined by Krister,
Pizza.
Cinders,
Hello.
and Sanswinda.
Hello, everyone. Pizza sounds good.
I agree.
Right. Well, I'm wondering what type of pizza would they have in Middle Earth?
A piping hot Pippin's pie.
Ooh.
Interesting question. I forgot if do they have tomatoes in Middle Earth or not. And can't use Hobbit reference. It has to be a Lord of the Rings reference if you're going to use because Hobbit breaks a couple of rules in it anyway.
Okay, hang on just a second. I'm looking for. Say that one more time. Piping hot.
Piping hot Pippin's pie.
Pipin hot Pippin's pie.
Okay.
Okay. We start with the alliteration right away.
I am looking up on the LOTRO wiki if they use it in LOTRO. Okay, you can continue with your thing while I Google.
Very well. Let's then head into the update for this week. We had a release for update 48.5, and you know what that means? Yes, release notes, of course.
Yay!
I didn't want to say it's kind of like Voldemort. I don't want to say the name.
Oh, yes, of course. And in this, we include the Midsummer Festival, which is going to be running from when they released it earlier this on Thursday, all the way up to July 1st. And new rewards are available for barter and all of that. We'll look into that a little bit later. At this year's Midsummer Festival, the freebooters of Further Home are introducing a new horse race. And we probably have some talk about that also later on. But in addition to the festival, we had for Monster Play, Gothmog's Mace Fire effect has now only visible when the weapon is visible. Okay. Great Tree Panel. UI content selection no longer shifts when the panel size exceeds the screen size. Also in the Trait Tree panel, trait dependency arrow scales better with the panel size. And for tooltip tips for UI elements, correctly scale with the tooltips UI scale slider again. All right, so that is it, just the festival plus a couple of UI tweaks. And of course, as we said before, we do have the Midsummer Festival now, and we do have a link in the show notes to a guide with what's going on in there and how to get started in there. And when the Midsummer Festival is active, you will have an auto bestow quest available to select from the quest's available pop-up UI to log you into the game. Completing the Festival of the Midsummer has arrived grants you a map to Minas Tirith, which is a special instance of Minas Tirith where many of the Midsummer Festival events are available. And of course, that will include swift travel to Minas Tirith Midsummer. You can also get there where many stable masters throughout Middle Earth do have a Minas Tirith Midsummer link to them also. And you get them places all over Middle Earth. I'm not going to read this in this full list that we have in here. And when you're there, you can also take a horse to get to Further Home, which is down in the Shield Isles, where we have the latest content that has been added. But of course, at Minas Tirith, you could also pick up the story of the wedding if you haven't done before, and of course, there will be all sorts of wedding activities in there. As for Further Home, you are also invited to visit the far-off tropical island of Further Home, located in the Shield Isles off the coast of Umbar in the Bay of Balfalas. A crew of freebooters have retired from the life of the sea to open the island to a retreat of travelers from all parts of Middle-earth. And you can get there from, to start the New Summer Adventure, talk to being shot in front of the city stables of Minas Tirith. She's also be found at the Party Tree, Thorns Hall Inn, inside the Prancing Pony, inside, and the Festival Garden of Dwoyland. For the home adds a total of 35 quests for the Midsummer Festival. And note that the gathering guests, some of the gathering guests from the Gathering Guest Festival won't necessarily be available on the Legendary Worlds because we might not have access to those areas yet. So we also have the list of quests that are within Minas Tirith and also outside of Minas Tirith, and of course horse racing events. You have the traditional horse racing events in there, plus a new horse race that has been added to Furtherhome, which goes around the island in there, and it even has a choice of pads in there because these plat splits off and rejoins at some point in there, as Cinders and I learned about during the week, right?
Yes.
All right. Any comments about this horse race compared to the other horse races that we've had before?
I like it. That might be partly because I've actually managed to win once.
Oh, well, you have trouble with the traditional ones, or you've forgotten them?
I've had trouble with the traditional ones. So, but I'm going to talk more about it later when we talk about our week in gaming.
Oh, okay. There we go. And we also have, for further reading, they also have links to the Midsummer Festival at the LOTRO Wiki, at the LOTRO Midsummer Festival Quick Guide by Little Redhead from Life Beyond the Shire, and The Great Wedding by Deco de Milou, which includes a complete list of images and descriptions of the housing items that are available there. So that is the festival. A couple of tweaks in there, but no major changes from last year unless you call the inclusion of the horse race to be a major change. Now, of course, when I say horse race, it's actually a time trial, not a horse race, just to be sure that, like the old ones. Back in the early days of the festivals, they used to have an actual horse race. And they had a lot of trouble with it because everybody's screen showed a different winner in there. Of course, the winner was determined by the absolute timer of the game and not by what you see. So a lot of people complain that they got across the line first, so they should have won. But of course, no, everybody, unless you were way behind, everybody looked like that they were the first across the line apparently, because you see where you are at before you see where everybody else is at. Sort of one of the strange quirks in LOTRO, and that's why when there used to be a kin that used to put on horse races, they would have to make that clear to the people participating. Is they had their on cameras looking at everybody else to check on it to see who actually crossed the line first.
Wow. Those were the days.
Those were the days. Yeah, that was before War Seeds came along and ruined everything.
And made everything wonderful.
Yeah. And now let's then head on into Bull Roarer. Yes, we do have a Bull Roarer this week. This is for update 49. This is Bull Roarer build number 1. So yes, even though this is a lot of the same stuff that was in the special Bull Roarers, this is the first time it's been actually part of official build 1 in here, and this includes 2 major items, and these are the same things that were in the special build, and that is of course the Sorceress. And actually, yeah, this includes the Sorceress and also with PvP the Delving of Fror. And though I say updates on that space is coming soon. They don't quite have the Delving in there yet, but of course you did have the major thing with the Sorceress. And what we had in here is there were some changes in class skills and traits. For the Guardian, Whirling Winds will now sustain less damage from most sources. Do you know what that means, Cinders?
That's odd. Whirling. Okay, hang on.
Okay, you're saying, what in the world is Pine Leaf talking about?
Well,
Yes.
I'm looking at this. I'm trying to like parse it out. Okay, so if whirling winds is a skill,
Right?
how would it take damage from other sources?
That's sort of, I was hoping you would tell me.
Whirling winds sounds. Whirling winds does not sound like a guardian skill. Okay.
Okay, it doesn't sound like a guardian skill then. Okay, I thought I didn't recognize it because I had no idea what the
No, I mean we have whirling retaliation.
Or whirling breach,
Yeah.
depending on which line, I think.
maybe.
And there's also
Well,
a
what about
whirlwind
whirlwind?
option. That's what I'm looking at.
That's a champion skill, though, isn't it?
That's what. Nope, it's guardian. It's under the red line. And it says, according to the LOTRO wiki, that it is a full body rotation, turns your weapon into a whirlwind, occasionally spinning up a dust devil. It causes, like, you provide damage to somebody else. Equipping 4 pieces of the Armor of the Keen Blade armor set acquired from the Folly of Nagaketi raid makes the skill apply Whirlwind Alacrity to the Guardian and makes the skill have a 25% chance to generate a Whirlwind Companion. Ooh, okay, that would be worth doing those things for. Whirlwinds pulse AoE damage around the Guardian's target and last for 20 seconds.
You know, I didn't say this, but this almost sounds like to me more like a monster sect proc from ESO than like a Lotro.
Yeah, and then Whirling Retaliation. You whirl to attack enemies in a circle and it requires a parry response and inflicts damage. Like none of those things.
Well, if you have a whirling wind companion, then if it's considered a companion, then it might sustain damage.
That's a possibility.
Okay,
That
so
that's what
maybe
they
it
were
was too
trying to
fragile.
say.
Yeah. So maybe it was too brittle,
Yeah.
and so they buffed it up a little, or are going to buff it up a little bit since this is in the borer notes.
Yeah. So that's a confusing way to say it, but yes.
Yeah. So
Because it's not actually properly a skill or trait. It's just an occasionally generated companion.
yeah. And of course, you only have it if you have gotten a certain drop from, or actually, or however you got it. You've done the raid. You've done the
Yeah,
most
you
recent
have to have 4 pieces of the armor from the raid.
Yeah, which means you have to. What I guess that's the thing. You have to have for each piece. You have to have completed the raid at least once to get each of the pieces. I
I don't
wonder.
know. I
In which
have
case,
no idea because I have not ground the raid.
yeah. So even if you have done it, I'm saying it will take a minimum of 4 completions most likely in order to be able to do it. And knowing most raid gear drops and stuff like that, that's might be even highly optimistic.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are some tweaks relating to classes in there. And combat monsters, Imhular Boglurkers are once again named correctly rather than using Amba rule names. Okay. For quests, updated many pick up and gather quest items in Murjala to be usable by Bjornings whilst in bear form. I'm sure many Bjornings are happy about that. And fix a typo in the Isengard quest instance. The Gates of Isengard. Note this quest instance will be versioned as a result of this. Hobbit Allegiance deeper in, the enraged troll no longer dies on a single blow, which used to break the quest progress. Hey? In the Gundabad quest, surveying Glittergroth, off-center quest rings no longer appear in for crystal shards. Oh yeah, because whenever you have off-center quest rings, they always make me wonder what. Adjusted mithril traveler locations for 1.15.3 proofs burden. 1.15.3 proofs per. Wait, how far did it pop you from where you wanted to be? I wonder that they adjusted it, or I don't know which is proofs burden. That's something during the Amarthial timeline, I presume. Let's see, and made some adjustments to the instance signs and portents to make it more reliable. As for deeds and reputation, the tutorial quest Introduction to Forestry, Introduction to Prospecting can now advance and be completed by speaking to Afas in Gondaman, Bachwin in the vineyards of Lorien, and Narlin in Iminum in Mirkwood. Okay. I'm just wondering why those three in particular.
No idea.
Yes. For missions and delving missions rewards have been updated and are now able to award players with incomparable armors and improved rewards at level 160. Okay, because of course people have been waiting for those to arrive for delving since the expansion was released. The other side mission invasion at the Redhorn Pass is no longer marked with a delving icon. I will presume it wasn't supposed to be. And delving pets and delving missions no longer display that they benefit from delving malices. It's a delving pet.
I don't know. But I'm giggling at the next two sections.
Oh, okay. For instances and skirmishes?
Oh, yes.
Oh, fix an issue in the Storm of Mithedris skirmish that caused Gwillian to get stuck or despawn, blocking skirmish progress. I don't recall. Now, the only thing I remember is there is what I thought was an intentional despawn of Gwillian, but you were able to fit, but it would finish the skirmish right away if you did that. And that is that she would disappear if you didn't save the drummers. You know, that she would be able to flee. I've always assumed that that meant that she fled and that you got partial reward, and that was why you would sometimes get two lootables, a body plus a chest instead of just a chest.
Yeah.
So, or I don't know if I don't recall there being a bug. As I said, I always thought that was a feature. A gap in the walls during the incident, the foe resurgent was allowed players to get up close and personal with the pixel fighters of Pelennor Fields. It has now been sealed.
That was a funny mental image there.
And within the public dungeons of Barad-dûr and Duramoth, rubble piles have been reduced to size to allow easier traversal. Additionally, the quest Lost Lore of Gorgoroth Duramarth is no longer blocked by an offending rubble pile.
I would laugh if they gave something else that was offending in place of it. Like, we removed the rubble pile, but here, an offending bush. Sorry. I think it'd be humorous.
Well, so having trouble picking up pages sometimes, I guess, is a result of that. All right, for items and rewards, classic skirmish vendors' offerings are now alphabetized and removed redundant Heligrod Mariner filter, and the Mariner stuff has been moved to the medium gear stuff. Right. If you have completed the Song of Waves and Wind, extra housing decoration sketches of the Kindred clan can be obtained via barter at Hamati Quartermasters in Ungana. Mariner players at level 1 to 99 can now open Treasure of Rohan and Treasures of Pelargir victory boxes. Okay. You had to be at least level 100 before then. And Monster Play Rewards Track. And a couple of tweaks to the Monster Play Rewards Track. We will wait till release on that matter. Crafting and hobbies. Several single-use crafting skills scrolls that require reputation to learn will no longer bind on acquire. Okay.
That will be good.
Okay. Buckles and stick pins at tier 12 now cost fewer materials. All right. Scholars and then can now craft Bjorning Grizzly potions of rejuvenation and rage starting at tier 5. Grizzly potions of rejuvenation. I guess I never kept close watch as to the names for various things for Bjornings. Housing and decorations increase the default movement range for non-mobile yard hooks. Standard movement rules still apply to those hooks, but the range in which they can move within those rules has been improved. New housing decorations have been added for the barter for the Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariners. If you have completed the Song of Waves and Wind, extra housing decorations, more decoration sketches on that. Riverfolk housing decorations have an increased render distance, and Rivendell kitchen sets can now be used to cook campfire foods. Okay. And let's see. And skipping. Right, we could save that for later. And as for UI miscellaneous, in the auction panel, potions and salves category has been renamed to cures and buffs to more accurately describe what's in it. Oh, okay. And I think that's it for now. But of course, there are a few other things, and we'll go over that when it's really. Oh, you found something that you would like to bring up?
Yes. So in the PvP, and Entmore's one,
Yeah.
I was reading through it, and another one that caught my eye was that river hobbits now count toward the hobbit kill accomplishments in the Entmores. So, it's no longer one that doesn't count. It will now count if you if you nom on them, it will count toward your hobbit kills.
Okay. Very well. River hobbits on the menu, boys.
Ooh, those would be like jalapeno poppers.
Potentially, except probably more seaweed tasting.
Okay, so maybe more fish stick.
Fish sticks. Okay, so if we hear orcs talk about fish sticks, we know what they're talking about. We also this week had a new episode of We Have a Cave Troll, and this week it was personifying LOTRO, where Scenario and Orion were joined by Celestra Bloodsong to talk about the various things on bringing personality to the game and the like. It's hard for me to just. I watched the thing and I still have trouble understanding exactly what they mean. But they do talk about things like trying to figure out what is fun for the players and what you have to do in order to try to please, many people as possible during a release. And of course, you can never please everybody because you don't have time to make something for every community. And I'm pretty sure that if they did come up with every community they could think, some will come up with a new community that was somehow missed out. Anyway, that's the game news for this week. So let's head into our store sales and centers. What's on sale this week? It looks like a pretty long list.
It is a decent list. So we've got double bonus points back through June 15th. We have, and I will try and get this out on time. Sorry about that. Summer sale is also going on. So from June 4th through July 9th, you can get 40% off or maybe this will change. At least this week. 40% off stat tome bundles, 50% off character slots, 75% off War Steed categories stuff through June 18th. And it looks like it will change weekly. But it's extra savings through July 9th. Obtain the Treasures of History. You can get 20% off select Legacy Patrons coffers now through June 18th. Homesteads and Harvest coffers. I will say if you get that one, make sure you have somewhere to put stuff because it will empty into your inventory, and it's like 100 different items. Mirkwood Patrons coffer and the Rohirrim Patrons coffer. Those ones are better on your inventory. Limited time, you can get 20% off of Deep Places memoir packs now through July 9th, and you can enshroud yourself with pre-order items from the launch of Mines of Moria and Rise of Isengard. And then the summer expansion sale is also arriving. It's not quite here yet, but it's coming on June 25th, so you can mark your calendar, and it will last through July 9th. And you can get up to 85% off of the select expansion packs in the LOTRO market. The full list will be revealed June 24th, so a day ahead of time for you to decide if that's how you want to spend your money. You can also stand out from the crowd and get 30% off of select shared wardrobe, select cosmetic outfit slots, mounted combat trait specs, select cosmetics now through June 18th. And the weekly coupon for this week is plus 100% crafting XP with the coupon code Makin' Waffles. MAKINWAFFLES. No spaces. Also through June 18th.
Making waffles? I'm just trying to think. For crafting XP, I'm just trying to think. Is there a way to make waffles in LOTRO?
No.
I think so.
Well, there is. The problem is that the recipe is held by Dragok, and you have to become friends with Dragok to get the recipe. And who, in their right mind, would become friends with Dragok? Frankly, so.
Considering that in order to have a conversation with them, you're probably going to get fire blasted into your face. Yeah, I can see that making it difficult to converse.
Maybe that's part of how he shares the waffle recipe. Just most of us aren't strong enough to understand it and then use it.
You're absolutely right. That's perfect, Sans, because basically the waffle recipe involves fire, so he has to blow fire at you to make you understand.
That might be more appropriate with the pizza question.
I could just imagine trying to hold up the waffle iron and having Dragok blast fire at it in order to cook the waffle.
And hope that you don't get hit.
You'd have better luck with the mini Dragok fireplace doing that, though. That would be fun.
Okay.
I do have to say, as a disclaimer, there are no actual consumable waffles in LOTRO, nor is there pizza or tomatoes, according to the LOTRO wiki.
Okay.
I did my research as we have been talking.
Wait a sec. You know what? This kind of shakes my whole Middle Earth. Okay. Are you telling me that this fantasy realm doesn't have waffles? I don't know if I can play anymore.
Well,
according to LOTRO wiki, it is a more modern breakfast food. Well, LOTRO wiki didn't say that. LOTRO wiki just doesn't list any waffles as in-game consumables.
This is just, it's very simple. Big Bang, bacteria, waffles. It is the natural progression of the universe. So I didn't realize how dark the Middle Earth was until this moment. How can a waffleless society is a society without true joy?
No waffles, no pizza, but they do have pie.
You think they would waffle the pie? That they lay the strips down for the cherry pie, and they go, "Wow, that's kind of waffle-like. What is that?" I'm waffling on what this is.
Good one. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Anyway. Yes, I guess Middle Earth just doesn't have anything that's less than that's less than 1,000 years old.
I wonder if that's one of those fine-tuning universe factors. Is that you have to and this is something that scientists have never accounted for. Maybe we have to account for the probability of waffles in the universe and what that means.
Well,
Yep.
anyway,
Think about it. So very sorry. Sorry.
yeah. The tricky thing is getting the waffle irons made to such a way that you could effectively make the waffle without getting burnt. Right? I don't know.
That's fair, but
Let's say
if you can hold any sort of pan, you should be able to hold a waffle iron.
even if it's made of cast iron, because Mom had a cast iron one for years and years and years, and she would just use like a hot pad to turn it.
Okay.
So the operative assumption would be that whatever they use to pull a pie out of the oven, whether it's a towel or a hot pad or whatever, you'd be able to use it to pick up and turn your waffle iron if you had one.
Right. If you had one.
Or you could have like wooden handles like they do on like the little sticks for cooking hot dogs over a campfire.
Okay.
They make little ones that can hold like a piece of toast in it, and they've got like a long metal stick part with a piece of wood on the end that you hold on to as the handle. Could be like that too.
The trouble is that I would think that a waffle iron would be heavier than a hot dog, which means that.
Or a piece of toast, but you know.
Well, it depends. Is it a Shire hot dog? Is it a Orthink hot dog? Could make a difference.
True.
I suppose so. Let us then leave that off and head on into the new player question for the week. Sans, what are the questions this week?
What is something a new player might be likely to do unintentionally that annoys others?
Beg for stuff.
Before you jump
onto
that,
I really like it when you can go out and earn money really quickly by just going out of town and moving around for a bit. People sit there asking for money. It's like, come on, we're all poor.
Yes, Sanders?
Sam says Krister needs to travel back in time and teach people to make waffles. Then it will be added. Probably.
Maybe that's my destiny.
How far will he travel back in time for this?
It sounds like the Denisovan time period. I'd have to go way back, you know. I mean, it has to be a fundamental, foundational aspect of humanity that waffles are capable.
He'll be coming out of, the Roman Empire.
Yeah, we can't be waffle adjacent. We have to be right on the waffle.
Emperor Krister and his waffles.
Okay. The Waffle King.
Change the course of history. Had the waffle invented by the Romans instead of the Belgians.
Yep. Okay, now back on topic. Sam says, what is something a new player might be likely to do unintentionally that annoys others? And he says forced emotes.
Yeah, because you get those forced emotes and you don't necessarily realize just how annoying they are when you first get that skill and you can run around doing it.
And there's a reason why I have those.
That's what I was going to say. And then you learn very quickly to turn that off.
Right. Some of them, though, what is it? Is it the captain one that you do and it makes everybody cheer for you?
I think it makes
there's like a salute
or something.
Yeah.
One makes everybody cheer, one makes everybody salute.
Yeah, champion I think is cheer, and I think it's champions for cheering. Yes.
Yeah, I can't. I think the captain one is salute, but I'm
Okay, I had always thought it
go
was
on.
Steve for some reason. Okay.
Let's say
What's really
whatever
funny
one
though,
you do.
honestly, a subtle thing with that though, is knowing, like when you're there, because Christian. Let's just face it. You guys will agree with this. Christian just looks good. He's just a good looking dude. He's got these fancy cosmetics, and sometimes that makes people jealous. And so, what I think what's kind of funny is when people would come up next to you, try to do the forced mode, and then of course you're immune to it because you set the flag, but everybody around you goes cheering or saluting or something. It's like, you were trying to get me, weren't you?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work in ESO because people can throw tomatoes on you, no matter what settings you've got. So.
Right.
Yeah.
That counts with the festival forced emotes as well. They're kind of fun little baubles, and some of them you actually have to use however many times to get the permanent bauble. And you could be happily going about doing that and not realize how annoyed people are. But the people who are annoyed can just toggle it off.
Yeah, but Sans, that's more of a. I'd be less annoyed in that circumstance, understanding that is kind of the expectation of that area. You know what I mean? It's not like you're just out there randomly annoying people. Just hey, Mister.
Yeah, when you take it like to Bree or someplace else, it's like, okay, maybe that was.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing it for a purpose there, So okay, I could be a little more tolerant.
So Sam says captain is kneeling, champion cheering, burglar has sneezing powder,
Kneeling,
and minstrel
okay.
makes people dance. My solution to the forced emote issue is you notify the person in advance that you're going to do it and pick somebody like your sibling who will tolerate it and do it to the point you can hear the annoyance in their voice and then you stop. That's key.
Can I hear Sans' point of view on that?
And you pick ones that they'll tolerate. So, for example, you never use spider legs on Sans. Because she will not tolerate that one, but she will let you use like the crow seeds and things like that. If you tell her ahead of time, she'll even turn the thing off so that you can see the forced emote, which is fun. So, you just have to coordinate it, and then you can get the pleasure out of seeing it happen.
That is true. I will turn it off unless I suspect somebody's going to throw spider legs, in which case, no.
Yeah.
And I have done some things like with the fire breath. Guer and I both bought stacks and stacks of it and took turns fire breathing each other until we got the emote. That was fun. But it was definitely coordinated and not just random.
Yes. So, talk to the people around you.
Oh, and that fire breath thing is dragon, technically.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready for the next question?
All right, yeah.
What counts as griefing in LOTRO, and how do you avoid this?
What counts as griefing? Well, I'm sure there are a lot of definitions on that, but to me, the biggest one I know of where I remember griefing at, I mean, in addition to, things are obvious, like preventing people from doing a quest or something like that. I mean, what is, if we're talking about a social event, for example, you have a band playing, especially if it's at a special event or anything like that, as opposed to, and someone is just taking their horse and just riding in and out all through the band while they're in the middle of playing a piece or something like that. It's like, really, so that'll be social griefing or harassing. Actually, that might be more harassing than griefing. Not that there's too much of a line between them.
That makes me think of the Weatherstock server crashes when people were setting off the Runekeeper abilities all over the place.
Oh,
that was kind of griefing.
That one's really bad because
I think the game fixed that one, but that was bad.
Right. They made some changes to the Runekeeper and how the stones acted as a result of this, and as a result of that. But yes, that is definitely griefing because that is crashing a sub server.
Yeah. The other thing
And
that I've seen that I think would count is that we're doing a parade through Bree with I think it was the Knights of the White Lady, and somebody kept like popping in and out of an instance and dropping a poison puddle, and
Oh
it
yeah.
was killing people's characters left and right, and they did
oh
it
yeah,
repeatedly.
that is griefing to level of a bannable offense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got in big trouble. But that was one of the things that I remember seeing and being like, oh my goodness, like that's crazy. Like I've never seen somebody intentionally behave in this manner in Lotro.
Because there was one where I think there was a quest I think it was in Rohan. I think it was involved with the one near let's see. Oh boy, it's the one near the main town in the Sudcrofts, and you go into there, and you have to fish out an Avant. And I think someone found a way to get that Avant to a different location.
Ooh.
And so would have it pop out in Bree or something. So they will sometimes have monsters that were intended for a quest in one place, and somehow they've managed to get that monster to pop up somewhere else. And yeah, and so they'll bring it up in Bree or something like this. And the idea is if you are going to cause the death of somebody in what is considered to be a safe location in the game, it is most definitely 100% griefing. I can
Yeah.
just imagine a level 19 who's going for the level 20 says, yes, I'll finally get that level 20 no deaths title for the first time on any of my characters, and then this level 85 Avant pops up and eats you.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, wasn't that the one? Pine Leaf, that wasn't the one where they released those Avunks in like Bree, and it was like I thought I remember another incident like that where people were going to Bree, they could trigger this high level creature to appear, and then it would just run around and slaughter everybody in the town. Because boy, that feels like griefing, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely griefing.
And I know sometimes like stuff like that happens on Borer too. But that's the test server. Weird stuff happens.
That's a test server, and things like that happening that could be someone trying to test and see where the holes are in it so that it could get fixed before it gets released. That's one thing. Doing it on a live server is a completely different matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like premeditated too at that point. Like you have to figure out how to do that and practice it enough to be able to do that. And that's just wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you did it in a place like, in the middle of another part, like Cliving or something like this, now it's still a bit rude in Cliving, but at least someone in Cliving has some hope of surviving the thing when it happens.
Right, and it probably isn't something you would accidentally be doing, at least presumably.
Yeah.
I suppose maybe you were waiting for a friend to turn in a quest or something and then pop back to Bree and didn't expect it to follow you maybe once, but...
Yeah, that's...
But basically, if you have something following you for a quest, turn it in. If you're in an instance, and you know the poison puddle can spill out, don't be standing in a crowded area. But I think you have to actually pop out of that instance for that one to have worked. So I think that was like an exploit too.
Yeah, probably on this thing.
If you don't like something that's happening, go somewhere else in Lotro. It's a big game. Would be a way to avoid griefing other people.
I was just thinking when
really. And if you're near the prancing pony and you're on, it's a weekend, especially if you're on like Peregrine, and your game's lagging, maybe just get off your horse just to be sure, because you might just be riding over a whole party of concert goers without seeing them sometimes.
Yeah, well, if there's a big difference between someone who is, if a concert's in the middle of a throughway where people often go, it's probably not grief. It's probably not harassment if someone rides a horse through there because, well, someone
It'd be
might
once
not
they
even
see
the
them if they
memory.
like come back a bunch of
It's
times. But
right. It's another thing is if someone's doing it on a stage,
oh yeah,
or if someone's running all the way through their back and forth, doing loops around there, jumping their horse or something like that, then it's definitely being
that's
done
more
intentionally
griefing.
as definitely trying to do harassment or something like this. But as for diseases and stuff like this, I heard that there was once a case in WoW where there was a disease inside of an instance. It got out of the instance, and it was so bad that that one of the servers was wiped out for a month or something, like for a couple of weeks or something like this. It basically wiped out the entire population of the server on it, and
oh man,
so it's sort of like, I think an epidemiologist actually did a study of this thing, to see how it relates to real world pandemics and the like, because that's how bad it was. And so I don't know if that was ever intentionally griefed by someone doing it, or if there were enough accidental cases that was so virulent
that it just
spread through.
And Sam adds in, if somebody's doing, like, if you're in a class quest area, he said he was doing the Guardian level 15 class quest and somebody ran in front of him and killed everything, and so he ended up having to redo the quest. So if you're in an area for class questing and that those enemies are needed for the class quest, maybe don't kill them. Like,
if you don't know because you're a new player or you haven't played that class, but you see somebody basically on level with the mobs and you are not, let them finish their questing and then continue your beating.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's from a place where someone may unintentionally grieve someone, is if they are deeding. I'm always have saying, when I'm in an area, if I see someone that looks like they're questing and I'm deeding, then I will leave, because I consider questing to have precedence over deeding when it comes to killing mobs.
Yeah, I'll generally go to a different area and work on a different enemy until either I'm out of time for the day or they're finished their questing in that area and I can go back to it.
Right. I know the slugs are a real pain.
And the other thing that you can do is you can pull them into your fellowship too.
Yeah, but
message them first ahead of time. Just be like, hey, are you questing? And you can do that too.
And they may say no, and this is the mob I need, and in that case, try to avoid the mob that they tell you they need.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So I think we have we covered everything under griefing.
Yes.
Maybe not everything, but a good portion.
A good portion. Okay. So what about number 3?
How do you thank a stranger who has saved you from death or helped you defeat a tough enemy?
Bow or cheer.
I think that's traditionally.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, these days I usually use a bow, a cheer, and or a /thank emote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always forget about the /thank emote, but bow or cheer.
Yep.
Or sometimes all 3.
And sometimes I'll just DM them and be like, thanks.
You can also use the say thing to say
Yeah.
thank you. If you don't feel like sending a tail to a stranger.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, and that's it for our new player questions for this week. So let's head into our week in LOTRO. And Krister, what were you up to?
Well, I got to take Krister out for a little bit, dust him off, get used to him again. And then I was ploy last night, and it was kind of enjoyable because you guys were talking about that horse race. So I got to experience Finn trying to help Ost finish that horse race, and at the end, I really felt like Ost was trying to sabotage it, just because Finn was like, "Okay, go here now. Follow me up this hill. Come up the hill with me." And Ost be like, "Hey, I just went down a hill." He's like, "No, up the hill, up the hill." So that was pretty enjoyable. It sounds like the new race is challenging. And so I'm just curious, Pine Leaf, have you actually done the horse race?
Yes, he did. Much to his
All right.
dismay.
So how did you guys do?
It's
how did you guys
coming.
do?
It's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. My apologies. I understand now. Sorry. So yes. So Cinders, what were you up to this week?
Well, so I played a little bit Banished on my own. My world is still running. And I played Ark Survival Ascended with Sans. We did a lot of dino taming, accidental dino taming, but fun dino taming. And I've almost finished my greenhouse, which I'm very excited about. And then I did LOTRO questing with Pine Leaf. We did the Midsummer Festival. And I convinced him to go try out the horse race because I was like, well, at least have something to talk about. So this one, unlike the others, it has 2 routes. And they explain. So there's the route where you can go all the way around and you can do a lot of jumping and running on the boardwalks. Or you can take and go up the hill and then along a muddy trail and down. And it says, oh, look, a shortcut when you take it. So the first time we did it, we took the path around the bottom and we lost just shy of getting to the last gate. And then I was like, okay, we need to go try the other route, though, just so we can say we've tried both, right? And Pilot was like, really? Okay, fine. So then we went the other route, and we went up the hill and then through the mud and down, and we won. So I was very proud of it. But yeah, I've never beaten a horse race until this week. So that was my week in gaming.
Congrats.
And I did get some of the new cosmetics because they do dye beautifully. And yes, I will be dyeing them Shire Plum. Have not yet, but I will be. Sans, what have you been up to this week?
Well, this week I did watch some LOTRO on Twitch and patched the game. So, that was about as far as that got, though, because it was the end of school and I was wrapping that up. I played some more Slay the Spire 2 and had a really great run, Ascension 5 run with the Silent, which was pretty epic. And then I've been taming lots of dinos with Cinders in Ark Survival Ascended. And we've had quite the number of baby dino tames that have proven to be epic. So that's been fun.
Yep, that's how we got our first
how's-
T-Rex this time.
Yeah.
It was a baby tame.
We've gotten a lot of good baby tames from that area.
Oh, yeah. Direwolves, Rexes, Ceratosauruses, Trikes. Huh?
I said a baby T-Rex. Aw.
Yeah.
Aw.
Get your face off.
But Sans has manipulated the settings so they're only babies for like 2 minutes. And then they're fully grown, amazing Rexes that you can ride.
Yeah, I don't
can
know
defend
what
themselves.
I tweaked, but I don't want to change it back, so I'm not messing with it. It means that basically imprinting is impossible, like to get the full buff, but oh well. So yeah. How was your week, Pine Leaf?
Right. Well, I spent some time on the beach with Cinders during the festival. I think she already explained to what happened on there. Lots of questing and some horse racing. And for the field trip, we returned to our Moria characters and we started Volume 2, Book 3. Thus, where you're heading on. Yeah, we did. Right, yeah, right. Yeah, Book 3. So we did chapters 3.1 and maybe a few chapters after that in order to go through various places in Moria. And then for Friday Night Fight, we played our characters that were about. I think the lowest one was 148 and the highest one was around 155. So 155ish. I was on a level 150 minstrel, trying to remember how you heal on a minstrel because I've been doing most of my healing lately on a runekeeper. So trying to learn again, minstrel healing again, and seeing how that works out. And after doing a couple of preliminary rounds in there, I decided that we would finish the night on Icy Crevasse because I had an experiment. Because when I had been running Icy Crevasse with Sam the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that an enemy buff that the counterattacks and all that stuff, I thought that they happened in duo, but they didn't happen the last couple of times in there. And I was trying to say, what, did they remove that or did they change it or anything like this? So I decided, well, let's see what happens if we had a 6-player run. And oh boy, those enemy attacks are still there in 6-player mode. That's for sure. So I have a feeling then that not being in duo was a change for an obscure patch note I saw of maybe a month or two ago where they're talking about duo versions of some instances being more like their solo versions rather than their group versions because yeah, that's what when I was doing it with Sam the last couple of times. Yeah, the duo version definitely on Icy was more like the solo version than it was like the 6-player version. I have not had a chance to run it 3-player since then. I guess I'll have to do that in order to finish my little round of experiments on that matter. And anyway, we did survive. Well, saying we is probably not the best way of putting it because a lot of us did get killed when we had the Frost Grim. The Frost Grim Lieutenant exploded, and of course you do a boom, and half the group gets wiped out at that point. But we did have 2 that did survive until the end and managed to kill off the last of the bosses. So we'll call it a win for Icy Crevasse, which when you're doing Icy Crevasse, any win is a good one. And that's it for my weekend Lotro. If you have any feedback for us, you could send it to podcast@LotraPlayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We have a Lotra Players News and re-record DDO Players News when Drac is available. You guys join for shows at LotraPlayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. Then this is Pine Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.